In this podcast episode, the hosts welcome historian Sir Niall Ferguson to discuss the controversial claims made by Daryl Cooper, a guest on Tucker Carlson's show, regarding Winston Churchill and World War II. Ferguson expresses his astonishment at the assertion that Churchill was the chief villain of the war, a claim that he found not only historically inaccurate but also reminiscent of Nazi propaganda. He emphasizes that such revisionist history undermines the significant contributions Churchill made in defending Western civilization during a time of great peril. Ferguson articulates his belief that Churchill was a pivotal figure in the fight against fascism, arguing that he played a crucial role in rallying the British people to continue the struggle against Nazi Germany, even in the face of overwhelming odds. He references A.J.P. Taylor's assertion that Churchill was the savior of his nation, going further to claim that he was a savior of Western civilization itself. Ferguson counters Cooper's claims that Churchill desired war for personal reasons, labeling such assertions as unfounded and dangerous. He points out that Hitler's peace offers were not genuine and would have resulted in the subjugation of Britain, a point that Cooper's narrative conveniently overlooked. Ferguson expresses concern over the rise of historical revisionism, particularly when it echoes the arguments made by the Nazis. He highlights Cooper's claims that the deaths of millions of Soviet prisoners during the war were merely the result of logistical failures, a narrative that downplays the systematic brutality of the Nazi regime. Ferguson argues that such distortions of history not only misrepresent the past, but also pose a threat to the understanding of contemporary issues, particularly regarding immigration and societal cohesion. The conversation shifts to the broader implications of these historical narratives on contemporary society. Ferguson posits that the attacks on Churchill symbolize a deeper crisis within Western civilization, reflecting a loss of faith in its foundational values. He notes that the current political climate has seen a troubling trend where both the left and the right engage in historical revisionism, often for ideological purposes. This, he argues, has led to a dangerous environment where extremist views can gain traction, particularly among disillusioned young people. As the discussion progresses, Ferguson addresses the contentious issue of immigration, emphasizing that mass migration is an inevitable reality in modern societies. He argues that the focus should not be on halting immigration, but rather on managing it effectively to ensure successful integration. Ferguson points out that historical examples, such as the assimilation of Irish and Eastern European immigrants in the United States, demonstrate that integration is possible when there is a commitment to shared values and cultural understanding. He criticizes the multicultural approach that has dominated discussions in Europe, arguing that it has often led to a lack of cohesion and increased tensions. Ferguson stresses the importance of establishing a clear framework for integration, which includes learning the language, understanding the history, and embracing the values of the host society. He warns that failing to do so could result in alienation and social unrest, as seen in various European countries. Ferguson laments the current state of political leadership, suggesting that many politicians have failed to address the complexities of immigration and integration honestly. He argues that both the left and the right have been disingenuous in their approaches, with the left often downplaying the challenges posed by radical ideologies, and the right resorting to fear-mongering. He calls for a new generation of leaders who can navigate these issues with integrity and clarity, emphasizing the need for a balanced discourse that acknowledges the realities of immigration while promoting the values of a free society. Towards the end of the podcast, Ferguson reflects on the future of Western societies in light of demographic changes and the challenges posed by radical ideologies. He expresses concern over the growing divide between young men and women, particularly in terms of political preferences and social dynamics. Ferguson warns that this alienation could have profound implications for societal stability and cohesion, urging a renewed focus on fostering healthy relationships and mutual understanding among different groups.